Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The webinar will start shortly. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This webinar will start in a few minutes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This webinar will start shortly. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this live event broadcasted from the Netherlands. We have participants from around the globe in a variety of time zones, so enjoy your morning coffee, your afternoon tea, or your evening snack while we get this started. Today, you will learn more about the timeline and effects of Brexit and the logistics challenges and solutions. Because Brexit is coming, 2 months and counting. We have 3 speakers today, and even 4 if we count our video testimonial. And host here today is Remco Buurman, CEO of the Holland International Distribution Council. He will introduce today's program and the speakers and will moderate today's event. Remco, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Stan, and also from my side, welcome everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, and good afternoon from all over the world. I hope you are all doing fine today. And although there's currently a partly lockdown in the Netherlands, we still hear from our members from our association that the logistics business is still doing quite well. Although there are quite some big challenges ahead. Think of all the air transport at the moment and its effects on the air freight. Think of the enormous growth in e-commerce at the moment. And also a lot of companies are looking how they can make their supply chains more agile for the future. So a lot of challenges, but there's one coming quite soon, and that one is called the Brexit. Another 65 days before the Brexit will take place. This is our second webinar in a series. The first one, we focused more on some of the fiscal aspects of the Brexit. Today, we will be focusing on logistics. How do we keep the flows going? We have 4 speakers today, 3 of them live and 1 of them is recorded. The first one is Raymond Nicodem from Nicodem and Company. They are a company with advisors in the field of strategy and turnarounds, and already from the beginning he has been very interested in all the developments of Brexit, and he followed everything quite closely. So he really can be mentioned an expert in the field. And he will look at the latest developments from a strategic perspective. Our second speaker is Martijn Hoordijk. He's a sales manager at Portbase. Portbase is our port community systems, which is used by all the ports in the Netherlands. And Martijn has been involved in adapting and adding new functionalities to Portbase to make sure that also after Brexit the flows will continue to flow smoothly by the ports, and he will go into more detail about what's happening over there. Third speaker is my colleague Jochem Sanders. Jochem is our business development manager for the Brexit project. Well, he has been quite busy recently. Only this month we have 15 new requests from companies which are looking for logistic solutions in the Netherlands because of the Brexit. And he will tell you about what kind of logistic solutions the Netherlands can offer for exporters and importers. And finally, as said, we have a very nice testimonial by a British company that already made the step. It's Rana Harvey, CEO of the Monster Group, and that's a web shop, and they started up in the Netherlands about half a year ago, and they are quite happy about it. It's possible to ask questions as well, as you will find a question and answer box on your screen. So please don't hesitate to ask the questions to all the speakers of today. And now I want to hand over to our first speaker, which is Raymond Nicodem. Raymond, please go ahead.
Thank you, Remco. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. It's an honor to be with you. Let's dive right into the story of the strategic outline and what's going on. Let's first look at the what happened in the last few years. The referendum a couple of years ago knocked off a pretty hefty process. The UK invoked the Article 50, which is exiting the UK, but again that caused some obvious delays in the whole process up to January 2020 of this year. But looking at the working days and the calendar days that has passed, it gives you some of a flavor of how difficult and how cumbersome that process will be and has been. The clouds, the thunder clouds at the very top gives the sentiment of the parties involved, which is also internally in the UK. The Parliament has been struggling with this whole process for quite a while. Now, looking at the transition period, effectively that's negotiating the trade agreement. Currently, we are in the withdrawal agreement phase, which is there to establish a quite peaceful situation till the trade agreement is there. We have 233 working days, that's counting from February 2020. And if you look at the situation from the UK, the UK has been strongly aiming for its own entrepreneurial independence. So they want to like rip themselves off the UK, the EU, and want to be like standalone, autonomous. Now, currently, as of today, we have 50 working days left, 71 calendar days before the exit, and effectively that's the period of time we have till the end of the year to reach a trade agreement. Now, it's not surprisingly very cumbersome and very struggle-full to reach any form of trade agreement, and the UK has thrown in another like bomb, so to speak, which is the UK Internal Market Bill, which like effectively blows up the withdrawal agreement itself. I'll come back to that later. Now, looking at the post-transition playfield, and that's really the interesting part. I don't want to like emphasize a lot more about the transition phase. The new relationship brings challenges and opportunity. One of the challenges is that the withdrawal agreement and its effect will typically end and effectively end by the end of the year. That's driven by law, UK law and EU law. Now, the build-up of that new relationship, which is like the transition phase was typically aimed for that, it presents you with strategic analysis and opportunity to make the right choices. So let's see what we have to do and what the UK has to do before even be able standing up on their own feet. So there are three elements. One of them is agreeing on the future scenario. I'll come back to that in more detail. Secondly, and that's an area which is pretty much unknown, is that the UK has to pass 6 essential bills into act. That's legal stuff. To be able to act on their own. And thirdly, they have to become a member of the WTO because they're a member now through the EU, but they have to file effectively an application to be member of the WTO. Now, diving into that new relationship in the scenarios first. First of all, we have a EU model alike. That's basically the current situation, and we're gonna adjust that in the order of the equivalence, the playfield dependency, and the competitiveness of the UK. The second one is basically the relationship they had with Europe, but then now with the US and or China. But again, that still means that there is a lot of dependencies from the UK, and I'm very much doubt that they're gonna aim for that. The third option is they're gonna be like a power nation, fully compatible and in alignment with the EU. But that's not going to happen very quickly, because that will leave a very expensive exercise for the UK to step up to that level. And the last one is that's really where the UK wants to be heading for. It's being a world economic power on their own. Now, if you rate the situation, first of all, we're going to rate the EU model alike. That's very clear that they don't want to be there. The other ones, the ones I talked about, are very much in doubt, and you can safely say that the green area is the area they're going to be heading for. Now, looking at the bills, basically, that's a direct result of a lot of European law and European policies that are dripped in the UK legal system, like everybody else in as member states. Now, looking at those bills, they have to be like rescripted and redone, and obviously they have to be going through the process of Parliament and getting royal assent. Now, looking at the status there, there are not like there is only one past that stage, which is the Financial Act. But again, luckily, Mr. Johnson has a situation that the government is dominantly on his side. So you would say that that can be acted on swiftly. Nevertheless, five of those bills are still outstanding. These acts are pretty much like preconditional to even be able to file for WTO membership. Now, looking at the membership itself, they have to act as a full WTO membership, but the following conditions should be met. There is a precondition I just told you about, the bills, but also they have to file their own products and services into the 5,000 plus categories the WTO and GATT agreement knows about. Looking at that state, there is also a lot of rumor and stuff going on of the current WTO members. They have their own like minds and findings about what the UK is going to do now. Now, second thing that's important is that the most favored nation option, that's the non-discrimination rule of the WTO. That's going to be saying that they have to treat all the WTO members the same way. So they cannot favor the EU up and above, like, for instance, Japan or vice versa. Now, there's something else going on with the WTO, which is the organization itself is kind of dysfunctional, especially the dispute organization. And that's the one that you need if there's going to be some frictions. It's out of order at the moment because of the blockage of funding by the US government. Now, obviously, the UK wants to step up to the WTO level, so they have to take in their own seat. They have a former ambassador sitting on the table, and they even have to allow for more control pitched for Mr. Lime Fox as the new WTO Director General. Obviously, that has to be voted around, and that's still pending and going on. So there's a lot going on before the UK even is be able to step up. Now, looking at Europe in relation to the UK, like for centuries, the UK has been a main stepping stone for countries like the US, Canada, Far East, and Australia and whatnot, to a stepping stone to mainland Europe. That situation is going to be done and over with on December 31st. It's going to be having a severe hampered trade flow from the UK to the EU. So you have to really look into a situation where it's important where you're going to have your foreign market. If that's predominantly UK, that's fine. You'll stay in the UK. But if it's predominantly mainland Europe, you might consider to relocate to mainland Europe. And obviously, like the golden rule is, like, look where your main market is and your main growth is, and that's where you're going to be. Now, there are some more areas of impact. It's cross-border issues, funding, GDPR requirements, passporting. So it's a very complex situation, and every one of those key elements are going to be affected by Brexit. Now, looking at what you can do, you have to do something. You cannot just wait and see before this goes over, because it doesn't go over. It's going to be hit the wall pretty hard. You don't only like locked up in traffic jams with your logistical system. The UK is going to be losing permits and licenses. You have to revisit your general terms and conditions. They're going to be severely affected. And there are also some strategic options. Look at your own supply chain. Look at the client's supply chain. They're going to be affected by that. Look for turnarounds, like smart ways to like avoid damages, but take in account the benefits and opportunities. So strategically analyze the whole situation. Now, looking at how complex it is, we take a logistics company, for instance, as an example. You have to watch up on your internal organization and flow and your primary processes. You have to do that as well at your client to serve them well. If you look at your own organization, there has to be an action plan. It can be the same for your client side, and again, that rolls up to a complex timeline with a lot of activities. But that's the only way to overcome that, because your competitor is going to be watching the same playfield again, and you don't want to be like losing out on that situation. So my idea and my advice is like take this on and start analyzing. We can help you with that, but it's very important to start doing that, because it doesn't stop. It's going to be hitting the wall pretty hard on January 1 of next year. So just keep watching. My colleagues are going to be like connecting to this story with very interesting examples and materials. But again, there will be Q&A extensively, so I'll be hanging around and meet you there at the Q&A. So I'll hand it back to Remco.
Thank you very much, Raymond, for your presentation. You showed very well the complexity of the situation, and that it's really a necessity to prepare for what is coming. So let me remind you, you can ask questions via the Q&A box, and then we continue with our next speaker, which is Martijn Hoordijk of Portbase. Martijn, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Remco, for the introduction. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you joining this webinar regarding the Brexit situation. As mentioned by Remco, I'm working as a sales manager with Portbase. And Raymond mentioned there's going to be a doubtful solution as from January 1st with Australian or Canadian solutions. But most likely the UK will be a strong new organization independently from the EU and as a world leader. So this will be a huge fact or a huge impact on the formalities, the custom formalities. Every situation will change. Import, export from and to the EU with the UK is going to be requiring customs formalities. So we need all parties involved to cooperate, shippers, carriers, terminals, transporters, and exporters and importers, so we can make a solution for the port. However, is there a solution for this situation where we have about 16 different steps before our customs formalities, import or export, is handled by the ferry terminals, customs agents, customs authorities, and or exporter or importer? Well, we as one of the initiators together with all the other parties involved, we made a solution, get ready for Brexit, swiftly through the Dutch ports. And the parties involved in this new solution is Delta Links, Venedex, Venext, TLN, and other branch organizations, government, and large companies involved. So how did we make this work? We already have a proven and in use solution for the deep sea terminals, for the import and the export formalities, and together with the short sea operators, of which some of them already use the import and export custom formality solution, we decided to work together with the ferry operators and the RoRo to make a solution based on the deep sea service we already have in place and proven its quality. So what is it like? It's like booking a ticket, and I know most of you haven't seen a boarding pass in a while due to the COVID situation at the moment and limited traveling, but it's similar. You need to book, make some additional customs formalities, visa, etc. You check in online, take your boarding pass with you, and you can board the plane. So that's what we did. This applies to all terminals for transport to and from the UK in the Netherlands. Make sure that you have a customs declaration for export or import ready. Pre-notify the document at the terminal, like the boarding pass. Make sure the document is registered and you're good to go, and you can go to the terminal. Why is it so important to check before you go to the terminal? Because at the terminal, not everyone is Brexit ready. The ferry operators have about 80% of their custom-based client base ready for Brexit, which means they are able to do the pre-notification, the customs declaration for export and import, and they are ready to go to the terminal when the green light is on. But the ferry operators have one problem, is that when one of the truckers or the shippers or cargo suppliers is stuck at the terminal, they don't have any solution or space or options to help them out. So the traffic jams, as mentioned by Raymond, will be affected. Most of the companies involved that are not yet registered or ready for Brexit are from the UK, also even in the Netherlands. Most of the truckers and exporters from Poland, Germany, and Ireland. As mentioned before, the service is copied from the deep sea terminals. Short sea already is familiar with this situation, and they have a better way of handling cargo movers that are stuck at the terminal. They have a desk where they can help and assist arranging the export documentation or the import documentation. They have a limited parking space for short parking, and they even have space to store your cargo if necessary. So are you ready for Brexit? Do you have the solutions and the services to be able to get your cargo from or to the UK? On our website, getreadyforbrexit.eu, you can find more information on which role you have, like transporter, even ferry operator, or cargo owners. Please check and find the right way to get your cargo from the UK or to the UK. 5 steps and you're ready to handle your cargo. So with the ferry operators, there's a little bit different compared to the deep sea terminals and the short sea terminals. The ferry operator will need some more information. Previously, you could go on board a ferry ship and you could go to the UK. Now we need more information, the customs declaration, booking information, etc. Make sure your system link with your software supplier and any customs agent or ferry operator or ferry terminal is in order. Please check if you're up to date. And don't forget to get your shipment number, as this is mandatory to get your cargo ready to go. So you can sign up for the port-based services to be enabled to get the export documentation, the export cargo, or the import documentation and the import cargo. But make sure you get the right parties involved to do this. Who will do your customs declaration? Who will handle your shipment? And who will do the pre-notification? The service for export notification export documentation consists of track and trace export. So you can see if the bullet is green and you can go to the terminal. And the same is for import cargo. Import status, the bullet will show green when you're ready to go. So for the export cargo, we need 4 items. As mentioned, document number, type, transport equipment. We can handle your container cargo, trailers, license plates, and chassis numbers, and bookings number. For import, depending on the terminal of arriving, it will show you if document number is required, document type, and as you can see, for the ferry, shipment number will be mandatory, and short C, the container number, of course. So how do you prepare if you're not prepared yet? Because if you need to prepare now, make sure you have someone handling your customs declaration for import or export. It's only 71 days left before you have to do your customs formalities. Check with your local partner who is handling your customs documentation at the moment and see if they can assist and are ready to handle the system link with port base and or the ferry operator. Get connected on port base. If you have export cargo, get the notification export documentation service. Register your users. Watch the videos. You can even have a demo. You can browse in the service and see how it works. For existing users, make sure you have the signed terminal contract for all Brexit terminals, for all the ferry terminals and additional short sea terminals. Again, check with your system link, with your software supplier and with your customs agent if they are ready to handle your notifications. For more information, you can always check our website, support.portbase.com, where we have instruction videos. We have an animation on the website, Get Ready for Brexit. It's very clear on what's going to happen if you don't have the green light and you go with your truck to the terminal. You're blocking your partners, your colleagues, your friends. Just make sure you're ready before you go to the terminal. Subscribe to our website, follow us on social media, and make sure no document, no transport. So get ready for Brexit. It's happening. It's January 1st, 2021. So that's it. Back to you, Remco.
Thank you very much, Martijn. You did a lot of good work to prepare for the Brexit. Just one question I just got in. It's I think for you a simple question, so I take it on right now. If I use a haulier which has not registered at port base yet, but my company has, can I do the entry in the port base system for him?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Okay, that's very simple. Thank you very much. So other questions are more than welcome. And I don't know if we have time to deal with all the questions which come in, but please ask your question, because if we don't have time during the webinar, we will publish the answers on all the questions coming week on our website. So please ask the questions and we will ask our experts to give the right answers on that. Now we continue with our next speaker, my colleague Jochem Sanders. He will give you a practical guidance on logistic challenges and solutions. Jochem.
Thank you, Remco, and hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. Okay, it may be clear right now, it is becoming increasingly urgent to do something with your supply chain. And regardless of the possible outcome of the negotiations between the EU and the UK, it's simply, well, I always say it's useful to look at your supply chain setup and related matters such as customs and VAT. And over the next few minutes, I'll cover some of these things more in depth. And we will close with an interview with Monster Group CEO Raina Harvey. At the beginning of this year, Raina stepped up and moved her supply chain to the Netherlands, and she can tell you all about it. But firstly, I will briefly talk about the key consequences for businesses. So we do know for a fact that Brexit affects all aspects of doing business. That's what my previous speaker Raymond also was telling you. And on this sheet, we see 4 topics that will certainly be affected. And when we look at regulations, for instance, compliance checks will increase. Applying for the correct documentations and licenses will take longer, and the rules of origin will have to be considered. And when we're talking about market and commercial issues, EU-born citizens working in the UK and UK-born citizens working abroad will face amended requirements for work, residence and travel. And last but not least, supply chains, of course. Because from day one, the EU has been very firm with the UK not be able to produce and deliver products and services post-Brexit under current EU conditions. And as part of supply chains, there will be import tariffs and border controls. So it's crucial for importers and exporters to understand the customs implications for their businesses. And this is something HIDC can help you with. So don't hesitate to contact us. And let's not forget working capital as well, because working capital or cash is at the center of operational and strategic decisions. And it is well understood that cash occupied in operations such as advanced VAT payments at the borders suffer tremendous risks. So if you are going to deliver or distribute goods between the UK and the EU, then you have to get started with these 4 topics on screen. And it all starts with applying for an EORI number, both in the EU as well as in the UK. An EORI number is an identification number that you use to do business with customs. And this is required for customs clearance of your goods. So this is very important. And import duties are not an assumption. No, they are simply a fact. They are simply a fact. And in addition to these logistical implications, such as transport and warehousing, many EU certificates and licenses are no longer valid. Consider the CE marking, for example. British companies that want to continue to sell in the EU need this certificate, but it will no longer be possible to certify it from the UK. And please know, this is just an example, right? The compliance part is a problem in so many cases, and Raymond mentioned that earlier as well. The entire compliancy part is therefore perhaps even larger than the logistics part, because there's a need to set up an entity, for instance, or to have an authorized representative in the EU. Well, all in all, we can safely say this will lead to more paperwork and congestion at the borders. And this, of course, leads to less competitive products because the costs are higher and the time to market increases enormously. For example, look at any online store in the UK selling their products to customers on mainland Europe. And then don't just look at the outbound of goods, but also look at the inbound of goods. You need to optimize your stock as much as possible, because if your sales continue to run, you have to buffer when inbound delivery lags, and that takes an enormous amount of time and money. And you may ask, can I do something about it? Yes, of course, you can do something about it. You can optimize your supply chain. And please know, HIDC is here to help you with that. We're here to do that, such things. So with that in mind, we will take a closer look at 3 key elements today. Firstly, I will talk about customs procedures. Then I will say something about transport. And finally, I'll tell you some more on manufacturing, assembly, and warehousing. But first, there's customs, and there's the little EORI number again. An EORI number, and I said it earlier, is required for customs clearance of your goods. And please make sure your VAT registration is properly arranged. And if you're not sure, please let us know, because we're happy to assist you on this, and we are able to connect you to some excellent tax companies to set up fiscal representation or tell you more about Article 23, for example. And regarding certificates, a great number of our members can also advise you on this. So please do not hesitate to contact us. And of course, the port-based registration. You've heard all about that in the previous presentation. Our council has many customs brokers as a member, and it's very important to work with a customs broker in the UK and the EU with experience in dealing with third countries. We hear many stories about the significant shortage of customs brokers in the UK, but there's also a lot of demand in the EU itself. So act quickly. And please know, customs brokers are needed at both sides of the aisle. Because of customs borders, duty is due and customs formalities are required. We said that earlier. And there's an exception, of course, for goods costing less than 150 euros or 135 GBP. And this applies, of course, for goods that are going into Europe. And we don't yet know whether this will be the case to the UK as of January 1st. We covered that extensively in our first Brexit webinar a few weeks ago. And this webinar can be found on our website. So just take a look at our website and you will find it there. Well, then the transport part. Well, it only takes one driver lacking the right documentation to cause a traffic jam. And that's what Martijn was saying earlier as well. So the increase in paperwork and therefore the higher costs will be particularly evident at, for instance, the channel tunnel or channel, so to say. And when we take a Switzerland situation with optimal use of electronic messaging, one assumes 2 minutes of extra time per truck, and in the worst case, even 15 minutes. So with 2 million truck movements a year, this means a huge impact on both operation and cost level. So 2 minutes per extra truck is going to lead to at least 27 kilometers of traffic jam for Dover, let alone a situation with more than 2 minutes. So minimize your transport costs by using unmanned transport, for instance, or container transport between the UK and mainland Europe. And we know for a fact that ferry options and the channel are more difficult than short sea connection with own ships. So short sea is really something to look into for sure. Minimize the number of customs declarations and consolidate your goods, because truck transport is becoming less attractive and unmanned transport is a great alternative. Please consider the alternative options and look at them all, because it is expected that there will be more container transport by sea. Okay, this is a great slide. So take a look at this sample multi-channel EU distribution setup. And then remember that Brexit creates a huge barrier for your supply chain. And it's not without a reason that a party like Amazon has decided to stop fulfilling its UK clients from the UK to the EU as of mid-December. Because it's just a simple fact, there will be a border. And our advice would be to reconsider manufacturing and assembly in order to maintain EU origin. And with regard to warehousing and logistics, we think it's important to keep the number of shipments across the new borders to a minimum. And therefore, you can consider these options on the screen. So let's look at those. Consolidate shipments from the UK and cross-dock the goods in the EU, for instance. Or supply your EU business-to-business or business-to-consumer customers from an EU stock rather than from a UK stock. You can even replenish your EU warehouse from the UK or directly from your manufacturing location. And of course, you can outsource fulfillment to a specialized fulfillment provider in the EU. And we have a lot of those in the Netherlands, of course. And if you want to connect to them, please contact us for more information. So put a part of your stock in a mainland Europe warehouse or outsourced distribution center if export is substantial and Europe is a growth market. Please know that when the products are in the EU, most European countries can be reached within 1 to 3 days with regular road transport, for instance, or express networks. Those networks provide opportunities for late cutoff times and next or same day delivery in Europe. And there are extremely flexible last mile solutions. Also look at the possibility of a single stock view by using a logistics service provider located in both the EU and the UK. These are communicating vessels in terms of stock, but act quickly because these kind of services are going really fast right now, and it would be a shame if you missed the boat. And last but not least, on this slide, exporters to the UK can be consolidated from the Netherlands as well. And this may mean that you need a warehouse in the UK, and please contact us for more information on this. All right, now you know which challenges there are for your supply chain, but what now? What are you going to do? And there are so many things to consider when you want to distribute your products in Europe. And the Netherlands offers you some wonderful solutions. Within our member base, you will find the most experienced customs brokers you need. And the Dutch customs, for instance, has a very pro-business attitude, meaning a speedy transshipment of goods and a low risk of products being delayed at ports or distribution centers. And if you want to, you can even talk to them. Take advantage of the best logistics service providers out there and reach more than 170 million consumers within a 500-kilometer radius and within 24 hours. And you don't even pay any VAT on import when making use of the Article 23 permit when having a Dutch fiscal representative. And that's great for your cash flow. Arrange your air freight from Schiphol Airport, for instance, or use our modern seaports for the fast, innovative short sea options. Make use of international road transport companies with more than an excellent reputation. Consolidate your goods in a Dutch warehouse before shipping them to the UK. And how can I forget? Use Portbase, of course. The Holland International Distribution Council can help you find your way. We will guide you and connect you to the right partners on a confidential basis and free of charge. Among our members, you will find ports, fiscal specialists, supply chain professionals, regional development organizations, and more than 150 logistics service providers of different sizes and varying specialisms. And every year we help more than 400 international companies that are looking to set up or optimize their supply chain. We assess your specific needs just in order to connect you to the partners you're looking for. And I'm looking forward to get in touch with you and working together to keep your supply chain optimal in 2021 and just to maintain or even increase your turnover. That's our goal. So that's it for now. Back to you, Remco.
Yes, thank you very much, Jochem, for your clear presentation. And I just wanted to add that as HIDC, we are also part of the Holland Invest in Holland network, consisting of the Netherlands Foreign Investment Agency, and they also have an office in London, and all the regional partners here in Holland. So if we need any additional expertise, either from the national government or from local representatives, we can directly connect with them as well, and we assist each other to help companies to start their business here in the Netherlands. We have a couple of minutes left for some questions. I think one of them has already been answered by Jochem. One of the attendees is asking if we have a list of tax and VAT specialists. Yes, we can connect you to those specialists. So we would like to ask you, please send us a mail or connect to us, and then we will connect you to the right partners. Secondly, another question for Martijn. Martijn, they have a link here. We have an attendee who has a link to Portbase through their net software provider. Do they need an additional terminal contract?
Yes, they will need that if they will be handling via one of the new terminals. So better if they send an email or get in touch with Portbase, so we can double check if they already have the terminal contract or not.
Okay, wonderful. That is clear. I see one more question coming in. Do I need to be established in Great Britain to declare the goods for import with a customs broker? Martijn, can you answer that question as well? I think it's yes, as far as I know.
Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will put the answers also on our website next week. If you have any other questions, please let us know and drop a mail or give us a call. We will finish our webinar with a video which has been recorded earlier, a video with an example of a British company who started their business in the Netherlands already. So for now, I would like to say goodbye. We will organize another Brexit seminar later on, either in November or in December. So I hope to see you back again. And now please enjoy the video of Rana Harvey. I think it very good illustrates what you have to think of in the weeks to come. Thank you very much for being here today. Stan, can you start the video?
So Monster Group is an online retailer. Everything we sell, we source ourselves. We buy from a manufacturer and we supply directly to the end user. We are based in 3 different sites. We have 2 sites in the UK. One is the head office in York, and the other one is the distribution centre in North Lincolnshire. And we also have an European distribution centre in Venlo in the Netherlands. We sell, previous to 2018, we were selling about 25 to 30% of our business was European customers, and we sell directly to the end user. And I remember the date really well. It was beginning of the year when I contacted the Netherlands. I'd actually reached out to all countries the year before. So in end of 2017, we had actually reached out to many European countries to ask the question of, you know, if we want to set up, how does it look? What do we do, etc., etc. We said, if we crash with no deal, what impact is that going to have on our cash flow? And because such a large portion of our turnover was European, and actually we sell more niche products to Europe as opposed to the bread and butter that we sell here in the UK. And the niche products tend to be slightly larger margins. So it's not only turnover we're losing good profitability too. It was too much of a risk to wait and see what the government was going to do. So February the 18th, we flew to, sorry, it was a Monday. We landed in Venlo for the first time. We'd done a lot of homework before then, so we already knew that it would be Netherlands and it would be Venlo when the time came. That homework had already been done. So yeah, we landed in Venlo on February the 18th, and it went crazy from there. Yeah, so there was actually probably about 4 or 5 golden reasons we picked Venlo and the Netherlands. The first one is language. The Dutch are superb at English, and it's the majority. You know, your English is fantastic. Unfortunately, we can't speak Dutch or German or French, so immediately the language was a great advantage. The second reason is Rotterdam is a huge port, and containers from the Far East to Rotterdam are very frequent. They're very quick and actually slightly cheaper than the UK as well. So there was cost savings to be had there. The Netherlands have Article 23, which we don't have, and that's a VAT deferment scheme, which is fantastic for cash flow. It makes no difference to profitability, but in the UK, when we bring a container in, you know, some months we can pay £100,000 to £200,000 for VAT, and then 3 months later we claim or offset our VAT. With Article 23, you don't pay anything; it just cancels each other out. So cash flow, it was superb, and definitely was another great reason. The other reason for choosing the Netherlands was the next day delivery to Germany. So German customers are quite a large part of our database. So being able to offer next day delivery to Germany was a huge advantage. And finally, I think the Dutch ways of life, it's very difficult to explain. So Monster Group is a very fun and dynamic company, and we like to think we're really forward thinking. Anybody who joins a company will say, oh my God, it's very fast moving, it's very proactive, and it's very open-minded. So we like to try out technology, you know, we like to change, we like to adapt and improve. And it was just a feeling we got as a company that the Netherlands almost had that same attitude too. You know, very dynamic, very proactive and very technology driven. So the culture fit was perfect for us. So that's the reason we chose. And Venlo is because it's on the border of Germany. So it was a great location, great logistic hotspot. I mean, we did it as protection. We called it at the time a very expensive insurance policy, that if there's no deal, we have this warehouse that we can fulfill orders from. But actually, it brought so many advantages. Some of them were tangible, some of them were intangible. So the tangible benefits were we could dispatch next day to Germany. So suddenly our order fulfillment and our time frame that we were telling the customer had shortened dramatically. So our conversion had increased. I mean, some countries like Germany, it increased by as much as 40%. Other countries we could shorten down a couple of days, like France is typically 2 days as opposed to 3 to 5 from what we were quoting from the UK. So that increased our conversions. What we also found was there was a lot of savings on the physical cost of sending stuff as well. So not only that the conversions gone out, but sending a parcel from Venlo to Germany is far cheaper than the UK to Germany. So there's a lot of cost savings to be had there. And also it made us more ambitious. So we as a company became more ambitious to really go for Europe. So bol.com as an example is a great marketplace in the Netherlands. When we opened up our warehouse there, we were doing very little via bol.com, and we were doing it through a third-party agency. We still use some agencies, but actually being able to offer next day delivery within Netherlands itself and having a Dutch presence gave us a lot of confidence to really push our products on the platform, and we've become very successful there. So our sales overall did increase a lot, conversions increased, but also our ambitions were fueled, and we were less scared of attacking any country, really, any European country. I think the main reason is the resources are huge. You have a lot of carriers, a lot of great carriers. Your time frames are very short, so being able to give next day delivery to neighbouring countries, and also the efficiency of efficiency might be the wrong word, but for example, to set up an account, everything was quite easy. Sometimes in the UK is a good example, to set up an account and get up and running could take quite some time going back and forth, but the efficiency of the Netherlands makes that a lot quicker. So that's an advantage. But actually, in terms of capability and having the resources in place, the logistical companies seem to be a lot more capable of handling large volumes. And I think that's a great thing about the Netherlands. It almost is a logistical hotspot where you can set up an account and you can scale up without the worry of the couriers not being able to cope, because somehow you guys would cope. Yeah, I do. So I can honestly say that when we were taking that big jump, it felt huge. And it was one of the most scary, highest risk business strategies Monster has ever taken. And I guess psychologically, and I guess a lot of other business owners who are the same sort of size as a small business owners will assume that having a European distribution centre is for the big businesses only, the really large corporates. What I would say as a tip is that really isn't the case. And actually a small business can set up there just as successfully, if not more successfully, because you're nimble and you can move quickly. And the organisations are amazing at helping you set up. And I think actually that's one of the reasons that when you asked me earlier about the reasons for Netherlands, one I forgot to add was the people that I dealt with in the government, all these organisations and Invest in Holland, helping us succeed. And you feel the help, you feel that they really want you to succeed, and all the logistic carriers wanted us to succeed. So what I would say is don't be scared. Use the help as much as you can, because they are amazing and they're equipped for big businesses and small businesses, because I think we do assume that anyone would only want to help the big corporations. When I came to the Netherlands, I was very open and honest and said it was going to attract 2 job positions. That was it. 2 job positions, and hopefully we'll increase that. Right today, a year and a half later, we're at 6 job positions now in the Netherlands. So it still created an extra 4 jobs. But in my mind, I was worried that you would think, well, that's only 2 jobs. Is anyone going to want to help me? The truth is, all those business owners out there thinking about it, they do help. And also it takes away the stress of what our government's going to do with the EU relationship. And I think that's probably been the biggest benefit for me personally, forget the business, but me personally, that peace of mind to know, actually, we've taken the control completely into our own hands. Whatever happens now, and I want the UK to have a wonderful relationship with the EU, that's really important to us. But whatever happens now, it doesn't really matter, because we have secured our future in Europe.
And that concludes our webinar. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day and be in touch.